Doubt if anybody's there yet. Good timing. I was hoping it'd be in the dashboard, but it isn't. Not there either. Oh, well done. Turn the volume off though. That'd be awesome. Okay. Oh, there's me. There's a bit of a delay. Oh, that's going to confuse me. Oh, hang on. That's quite a lot of a delay. I'm still handing you my iPad. How do I know if anybody's there?
There's plenty of messages coming up.
Oh, there's nothing coming up on this. You might have to move a chair and sit there and shout them out to me and delete the rude ones. Let me know what's on there because I can't see it.
Hi Nick, hello, evening troops. I'm here, that's from Bad Anvil, he was the first.
Oh,
there.
right, that's actually Cairo.
Oh, hi Cairo.
That's Cairo who helps us a lot with the 3D printing. Hi Cairo.
Gunadic, good evening. Beaky847, hi Nick. Johnny Young, evening. Depender, hi Nick. Hamish the Paris.
Oh, I pressed live chat and it's all, need me glasses. That's it, we're
Someone's
up.
Actually, Johnny Young's just said, put your specs on.
How well they know. Right, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, look at that. That's brilliant. You've actually... Popcorn. You get no popcorn, Clive. You have to supply your own. We're actually up and live and it's working. This is awesome. So, good evening. I hope you're all right. Now, it was my intention to have a glass of wine this evening, but bad planning. It's one of my fast days. I've got to lose weight. Karen said I've got to get into shape. I told her round is a shape. But... so twice a week I don't have very much at all, so I've just got a cup of tea, which is a bit sad. But if this works next time, you never know, I might have a glass of wine. Oh, Pete's just said hello to both of us. Thank you, Pete. Right, so you might need a longer cable. Yeah, he'll be right. He'll be right. So this is a questions and answers live chat type deal. Oh, from Canada. Hello, I am sorry. I hope it all gets better soon. I hope it's nice there over there in Canada. Oh, and Steve, Dr. Piker. Hi, Steve. How are you doing? Steve's actually asked a question. We've got a question, and it is about the Snow Peak, the AP900 that I had. And I've done a couple of videos, and I've actually made the third video that's coming out on Monday with the accuracy. Spoiler alert, it's fine. The accuracy is fine. You don't have to worry. What are you doing down there? Look at that. That's magic. We didn't plan very well for this. It was suddenly, crap, I forgot I was doing this and we need to get some charging going on. I got the AP900, which was an absolute bargain. And Steve has asked me why I got the 900, not the 1000. Simply because the 900 is smaller. I just wanted the smallest, most compactest, lightest one for my gimpy shoulder. And actually it's gone, it's not here now. My friend Sean came round and he was quite taken with it and he took it home with him. So, and I've done it again, same as I did with Jace when he came, visited me on his way down to Spain and he took that Rexim X Force 1 off me. I thought I'd just get another one. I've been onto Ballistus website and they've run out of them. So there you go. But that is why I got the 900, not the 1000, because it was shorter and lighter than the 1000, but now I'm considering maybe getting the 1000 and maybe in 25 cal. Good evening from Lincolnshire. Thank you very much. Mick Morris, why did you move to France? That's quite a complicated one. There were many reasons, not least of which is our daughter who's disabled. There was nothing at all, no services at all for us in Cornwall where we lived. And And when she got to 18, they talked about putting her in a home in the West Midlands, which was hours away. So we decided we'd had enough and we moved to France instead. That's a lot of the reasons. It's like many reasons, but that's...
Your guns.
Oh, yeah, I can have guns here. I have more guns. Oh, Paul Humphreys, you're a funny man. He's noticed I've occasionally got a frog in my throat. Could it be all the croque monsieurs? That's good. Right. Pete has asked, Crazy Cressy, what got you started in making drop-in kits? I owned Virox. This is going way back. When I had a fishing boat, I used to be a commercial fisherman out of Newlyn, and I sold fish as well from a little van. And one of my customers had a lathe, and he used to let me, I'd finish off at his house on a Friday, I think it was, and he'd get, you know, fish whatever, his old boy, he'd get fish what was left on the van for his tea that night, and he'd let me loose in his garage with his old Myford lathe. And I used to make guides and top hats for my guns to use the existing spring, because I couldn't afford to buy there were kits available, but I couldn't afford to buy them, so I was making them myself. And then one thing led to another, and we ended up making them all the time, and that's how that got started. Hello from Georgia, USA. We haven't got any oil on the table, have we? No, we're fine. Hello, Georgia, USA. Somebody else, Defender 106, how did TBT get started? I think I've covered that in that last one. And what's the future? Karen wants to retire. The future. Now, I don't know, because I'm always looking for new things to do. There's not a lot we can do with PCPs, and I don't really want to get involved with high pressure stuff, but I'm always looking to see if there are small things that we can do, but nothing really. The thing is with PCPs at the moment, the development of them is a lot of it is this cheap Chinese and Turkish stuff. But I don't know if you've noticed, a new model come out, it'll sell like crazy for 6 months and it'll be replaced by a different one. So it's not like the TX200 or an HW77 where you've got the longevity of the brand. You know, you can buy an HW80, for example, came out and I think it was 1983, and you can go out and buy one today and it's virtually identical inside. In fact, it is identical inside, and it will take the same kit. But I don't know, but we will be continuing, and we're always looking for ways to make things better. But since moving over to the motorsport industry, manufacturing their new, I don't even know what plastic. I don't know the recipe of the plastic we're using, because he said he couldn't tell me. But since moving over to that the year before last, the quality of the plastics and the longevity of it, and the failure rate's down through the floor. It's a rare month indeed when we have to replace anything, but we're always looking for ways to improve. Cairo, just put mine on pre-order. Glad you didn't have any acquisition. No, it's a good gun. Watch Monday nights, because I was pulling my hair out with it. It really was. I thought I'd got a duffer for quite a while, but it ended up happy. But it was a journey. Hamish the Parrot. It's got a Webley Eclipse, shoots okay at 10.6 in 177, but sounds like a bag of nails when I'm cocking it. What measurements from the spring, etc., do you need for a kit? Now, there is a video called "Do You Make a TbT Kit for ... If you find that, I actually tell you all the measurements I need to make a kit for you. But basically, I need the piston, internal and external diameter, internal length, and a couple of photos of the gun in pieces so I can see the trigger group and how it all interacts would be good. That's the long and short of it. Hi from New Zealand. Hello, Ewan. New Zealand. We're watching the Broken Wood. It is, isn't it? The Broken Wood mysteries at the moment. I'm getting a thing for New Zealand. It looks very much like Cornwall. Where they filmed that looks very much like Cornwall, near where we used to live, down Mile, around that area. Absolutely loving it. Strange accent though, isn't it? What's the difference? This is Cairo again. What's the difference between OEM springs and TbT springs? We used genuine Viroc springs for many years, many years, but it got to a point we're now doing like 300-400 springs a month, which means we were having more and more problems getting them from Viroc. So when we decided to make our own springs, or have our own springs wound, I should say, we took a Viroc spring to the spring manufacturer, who's based up near Sheffield, and said, we want something like this, but we want it better. So the pitch is slightly different. The wire gauge is 3.1 millimeter. We have it made on a 14.2 millimeter mandrel, and that goes for the premium and the Magnum springs. They're both made on the same mandrel, so that, well, it's all computerized now, but you know what I mean, to the same internal diameter, so that we can use the same guides in each. We don't have to have two separate sets of guides manufactured. So really, the main difference between one of these and what we used to use from the Viroc one is the quality of the steel that's used. These are shot peened after they've been manufactured, which, when you wind wire, you get lots of micro fissures on the outside, all over the surface of the metal, and shot peening, basically blasting tiny particles at supersonic speeds all over the spring, and it heals them over, which adds to the longevity of the spring and basically the quality of it. And also, all of our springs are scragged, compressed twice before you get them. They're compressed once by the machine as it's made, and then once more afterwards. I've forgotten exactly. I've seen it. I've been to the factory. I've seen them being made. It is ever so clever, but that is the main thing. Now, my picture here has stopped. Has yours stopped? I've kind of frozen on the screen here. There we are. Let's have a look down here. I'm assuming, because I've still got questions coming through. Nobody said, why have you frozen? Yeah, no. Cheers, Cairo. No, it's still working his end. That's brilliant. Hello from Westmoreland in Kent. Westmoreland in Kent? No, I used to live near there. I used to go to Country, is it Country Ways? Ian, I think it was, used to run the little barn down the road from the main shop that had all the air rifles. It was great there because you had a little shooting range around the back, and you could go and try them out before you bought them. Fantastic shop that was. Why don't you buy a boat again to come home, fetch a few passengers and make a fortune? I do have a boat. I've got a bit of a boat problem, same as I've got a bit of a gun problem, and if I'm honest, a guitar problem as well. But yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Really good review of the Snow Pick. I think you meant Peak AP900. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Pete. That's very nice of you. Going to buy a 2250 rat catcher tomorrow. Please, what do you think about them? Right, anything Crossman is ultimately moddable. You can get loads of bits and pieces for it. You can now 3D print pieces for it. The 2250 is the rifle one, or is it the pistol with the stock and the longer barrel? Basically, what you want to do is clean everything up, put it back together and test it, and then try not to buy too many pieces because it will cost you a fortune. But you can do low pressure air conversions, bottle conversions, all kinds of different stuff to those. It is a bit of a rabbit hole to go down, but they're a good gun. They really are. I love my little 2240 XL. Absolutely love it. I was shooting that again today as well. Hamish the Parrot's going to watch the video and go for that. Thank you. What got me old timer? 9879. What got me into air rifles? My uncle Ian had an air rifle when I was at primary school, and we used to play with that in his garden. I say play, we used to shoot tin cans and stuff in his garden with it, and I really liked that. I suppose that was the first thing, and then we were up in my great aunt and uncle's in Norfolk for a weekend or something when I'd have been about 11-ish, and we were in Dereham, and I think it's Churchill's, the gun shop in East Dereham. Went in there and I got an air pistol, one of those RO72s, and it kind of went from there really. I'm definitely still moving. Thank you, Temple Toad. Countryways, yes, Countryways. Thank you. It was that one. I did get the name right. How tall are my Lego men? Now, I've got 3 different moulds. I've got a Lego. Sean came round. I told you he came round today. He said, I bought you a Lego man to shoot. I don't shoot real ones. That would be cruel. And if you see that one, that's actually a very angry lesbian, I think. But I've got 3 moulds that I make the targets from. One of them is the exact same size as this. One of them is a little bit taller, and some of them are like that big, like giant Lego man. So, but the ones that are the most fun, the ones that I use for most of the shooting in the garden on the videos, are just this size, because this size, everybody knows how big a Lego man is. So if I put out Lego men and shoot them, you know the size of the target that I'm going for. There we go. What was the first rifle you purchased for yourself? And have I still got it? I haven't even got the one I bought on Monday. The first rifle I bought for myself, this is Douglas. Now, I've got a feeling it was a Crossman 2200 Magnum. And I've got a feeling it was on mail order, because it was about 50 quid. That was the first new rifle I bought for myself. I had a Webley Hawk before that, because it was when I was at school, because I remember different times, wasn't it? Back in the 80s, I used to take my Webley Hawk. It was the one where you could take the barrel out. You know, it had a little kind of coin slot thing, and you turn the screw and the barrel came out. So you could change barrels. It had a 177 and 2.2. This is how daft we was as kids, right? Because you'd have the 2.2 barrel on it, then you'd see something that's further away. Oh, we'll put the 177 barrel on it now. I wonder why we never hit anything. But anyway, I used to take this gun to school with me in a backpack, sticking out the top, and at lunchtimes we'd go over the woods shooting, because there was woods out the back of the school field. We'd go, the teacher would go, "Great shooting, boys." "Yes, sir." And off we'd trot. But yeah, I think I traded that up. BMXs were big at the time, and I think I probably traded it up on various bits and pieces, you know, little blue brake pads or checkered brake lever covers and things like that. I know that's certainly how I got an air pistol was swapped for some of those. It would have been something like that. There have been so many, and no, I haven't still got it. In fact, the gun that I've got that I've had the longest is my HW45 pistol, and I've had lots of those, and I actually asked Karen to buy me one for Christmas, and this was many years ago. I think it's just when we started the company. Asked her to buy me one for Christmas, because that way I'd never sell it, because I never want to sell them. I shouldn't sell them, but I do. Where did the name TbT come from? Now, why didn't you just shout that out, you Wally? You sat there. TbT, right, Tinbum. That's, again, it's Uncle Ian. It's me uncle. A lot of things in life are down to Uncle Ian. I have to blame him for an awful lot. But that was what he used to call me when I was a kid. And that comes from, because I'm called Nick. Nick is short for Nicholas. Nicholas, nickel arse, tin bum. So it was Tinbum Tuning, which sounded a bit weird, so TbT. And it looks good. When you're doing a little logo, a TbT, you've got a capital at each end. It's a logo almost on its own. So that's where that came from. Dream rifle as a kid, Cairo again. Dream rifle as a kid, do you know, there were so many, because I used to read, mate, you know, I read the magazines, because I've still got a load of them. And that's one of my guilty pleasures, is going through the old magazines from the 80s and 90s and wishing I had a time machine and what I'd go back and get. And HW80 was certainly right up there, but my mate Jason Playford, he lived in Sandhurst, and he had one, and it took 3 of us to lift and cock it. It was bloody huge. But yeah, that probably would have been it until the Sussex Jackal came out, which then became the Air Arms Jackal, high power Camargue, all those side lever rifles. I really loved them. In fact, I still like them. You got to love a side lever. Churches are still there, but bloody expensive. Thank you, Clive. Isn't everything nowadays? Thanks for your help on videos. Oh, this is Simon Cragg. All went to plan. Took 500 pellets to really settle down. Brilliant modification. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're happy. Chris Eggleton, hello Nick from Les Champs Girolles. Can you post kits direct in France? Yes, I can. You can pay in euros and I can post it from here. I do try to keep a small stock here for EU customers, but Karen goes back regularly, so if there's anything Pacific that you want, she can bring it back. And is it end of next week you're over to the UK office again?
Week on Monday.
Week on Monday she's back over there, so if anybody in the EU or France wants anything in particular, let me know. I'll make sure it comes back here and it can be sent from within France. Do you think you'll ever start making guide springers and D-pingers for PCPs? This is from Steve. I was making those before TbT started, and for CO2 stuff as well. I have done. Now, a D-pinger, here's a top tip for you. You're going to like this one because this one's free. A D-pinger for a PCP, if you've got a cylinder gun where you wind the cylinder off, get a length of hose pipe, garden hose pipe, about that long, fold it in half and stuff it inside the tube, then put it back together again. It presses against the edges of the cylinder and stops it ringing like a bell. That is a D-pinger, and that's free. Make sure you empty the gun first though, please. It always gives me the heebie-jeebies when people start playing around with PCPs. I've seen some videos on the internet. It's like, oh my God, don't do that. But anyway, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, Chiefy off the AGF. Yeah, look, cup of tea, mate. Cup of tea. Actually, I'm just going to have a little bit. I don't usually talk this much. That's a lie, isn't it? Shut up. It's a Webley Hawk for sale on Collector's website in New Zealand. Well, there you go. I don't know. Tell me, down on the other hemisphere, do the barrels go the other way? I don't know. Fred Cooper, hi Nick, retired, paying with PCPs, just got 500 to spend on a Springer for a bit of wabbit and squirrel hunting. Never had a Springer. Any recommendations? Right, here you go. Now, I will always say this, whenever anybody says they want a Springer, the argument starts up TX versus HW97. If you want it for hunting, get a break barrel. Simply because break barrels are lighter, because they've got less metal in them. They're lighter out the front because the underlever is out with the barrel, so it's dragging the weight. Not only is it heavier, but the weight is more towards the front of the gun, which makes it more of a struggle. And also, it takes longer to reload. So when you're shooting at rabbits or squirrels, none of us are perfect. We know we're not perfect. Sometimes you need that second shot and you want it quite quickly. You can get your second shot off quicker with a break barrel than you can with an underlever. So I would say get a break barrel. I love HW95s. The 99's good as well. If you're prepared to give it a little bit of work at the beginning, a 99's brilliant. But there are an awful lot of good break barrels, and don't just restrict yourself to a new one. If you've got £500 budget, maybe you specifically after a new one. I don't know. I think probably the HW95 is still around that price. It's been a while since I've looked at the UK prices, but they're going up everywhere. But don't be afraid to look at good quality second-hand air rifles, because there's very little people can do to make them bad, and you can pick up a bargain that way. But I would go break barrel. Well, Gary, yes, you are late. See me after. Brought an Eclipse from mail order catalogue. Can't remember when. Oh, I used to love the mail order catalogues. Yeah. Now, Hamish saying he bought it from a catalogue. Somebody just delivered it in the car, no checks, no nothing. I bought my Glock 17 via the internet, and the postie brought it. that was back when lockdown started. We were already living in France. Lockdown started. It was kind of going to be the end of the world. I was expecting zombies, so I bought a Glock. There we go. What air gun do you regret selling the most? Most of them. Yeah, she's right. Karen's just said there. I've had many Theban Fenmans, including a couple of really nice profiles. And I had a 2.0 Fenman profile that, if you ever went to the spring or go to the Springer bashes, it was the first rifle to hit the bucket, the Quigley bucket at 75 meters. and I regret selling that one, but I also had Dave Theobald's own Fenman, and I've got a photo of the stock somewhere, the Schedua stock. That's how you pronounce Schedua, by the way. It's Schedua, I think. It was like a zebra pattern, absolutely stunning, and I sold it. And I look every now and then, but I'll never see that again. The person who's got it now would be daft to sell it. Is there anything gun shape that's currently spinning your wheels? Well, I've only bought 2 guns this week. So 2 guns this week so far, haven't I? And I've sold one of them, but on was it Tuesday? It was, wasn't it? On Tuesday I went shooting and found out, sad news, Guns & Co, Chifonso, half an hour north of Bordeaux, half an hour south of Angoulême, just off the N10 easy parking. The gun shop's shutting. He's keeping the range open, but he's shutting the shop. So I'm going back down there in a week or so when I get some time to go through the stock room of all the old crap out the back and see what I want. But while I was there, he done me a really good deal on a Beretta 92, so I've got that. But other than that, the Snow Peak, I've not seen anything exciting in the spring world for a while. New ones do keep coming out, but they are invariably crap. The Chinese gun manufacturers at the moment and the Turkish ones, they're doing really good things with PCPs, but the springers seem to be a bit rudimentary. I might revisit that soon though, because I honestly get accused sometimes of being a Virak fanboy. It's simply, well, what other choice have you got? You know, I would love to be able to come to you guys and say, look, half the price of a Virak and every bit as good. If I ever find that gun, you will know about it. Trust me. K's catalogue, yes, Pete. Thank you, Paul. Another one saying he's very happy with his kit. If you want to buy a kit, feel free to go ahead and buy it. It's January. You know, it's the nights are dark. We've got all the bills from Christmas. December and January, always the quietest months for sale. So if you want to buy something tonight, you know, treat yourself. I won't tell the wife. Well, your wife. I'll tell my wife. She'll know. She'll see it on the computer. Not shot. Right, this is Stephanie. So I'm thinking possibly Stephanie. Oh, hang on. Read the one above it before it disappears. From Jeff. Do you think Americans will ever get the value in accuracy over power? Let's not go there. Not shot my air guns for a long while, although I did buy an Artemis 700 SA pistol. Oh, now that's something again. The Artemis 700, that's a bloody good pistol. BSA Meteor for wood pigeons over decoys. Yeah, and we did, and it worked. Right, Paul Humphreys, if TbT sell chronographs, you should tell us. I've trawled the net for months trying to get the LMBR, only to be told out of stock. Now, try Nate Croney, N-A-T-E Croney, C-H-R-O-N-Y. I'm testing one of his at the moment. It's an exceedingly good piece of kit. And he sent me another one, an over barrel one, so I can use 3 chronos in a line, one perfectly lined up because it's on the barrel, then my LMBR, then his new development chrono behind it to compare the things. But Nate Croney is doing wonderful things with chronographs. I would suggest you get in contact with him. But my LMBR is good. You've seen it. It's got, it's not here at the moment, but it's got chunks. I've hit it with all kinds of guns, but they are good. But there are alternatives. And if you haven't got the budget to buy an expensive chrono, just buy a cheap one. I've done the lecture on this, but just buy a cheap one. They all work for a given value of work. You know, it's a great diagnostic tool. Hello from Cabo, Pennsylvania, USA. At least I think PA is Pennsylvania, unless your name is actually Cable Par. Love the channel. When's the next cooking episode? Do you know what? It was only you and 3 other people watched them. But I do have plans for a Corniche pasty. And that is Corniche, the French spelling. So yeah, you can probably guess what I'm going to put in it. Right, Len Pierce, Virak make arguably the best springers, superb engineering, barrels, triggers, etc. So why do they fit in inferior internals when it would cost relatively little to bring them up to TbT standard? It would cost more than you'd think, because each one would have to be done by hand, and that, you know, taken apart, put together, taken apart, put together, it would take more effort than you would think, and it would put the price up alarmingly. And what you've got to remember is we're the special ones here. We're the ones who are different. Most people who buy a Viarc, in fact, most people who buy an air rifle, buy it, take it home with their tin of pellets, fire half a dozen shots in the garden, put it in a cupboard and forget they own it. That is the usual destination for air rifles. We all know people have, oh, I've got this in the back of the cupboard, do you want it? I bought it and never used it. It happens all the time. Plus it put me out of business. I don't really want them to do that. What we got here. Should I keep my HW85 Mark 1 standard or tune it? Now, Alan, good question. If you're going to keep it on the shelf and look at it unopened, keep it as it is. If you're going to shoot it, I would, if it's twangy, I would stop it twanging. I cannot shoot a twangy gun. It just sets my teeth on edge. And the thing is, whenever you put any kit, not just ours, any drop-in kit, just keep the spring to one side. And if you want to sell it as original, you just take it out and put the original spring back in. Job done. Am I going to do a video on the Beretta 92? Yes. I was trying to think of what's the thing where you like the bear in the woods and the Pope and choir boys and things like that. I was trying to think of one, but it was all about Americans, so I stopped myself. Can you pick me up a new single shot for the BSA in the UK? DM3D only have a UK option on their site. Still not shot due to his. This is Steve, who had my BSA bolt action Super 10 bull barrel. Rather stupidly, he tripped over and it broke your wrist, I think, just before Christmas, so he can't use a gun. Yeah, I'll see if I can. What happened to the one you got? I thought there was a single shot adapter. If you've broken it, if you want one, send me an email and I'll get you one. That's not a problem. Paul Humphreys broke his heart. He couldn't buy a Daisy 2 repeater. It would break my heart too. Oh, that's not up here. I think it's in the bedroom. One of my first guns was a pistol, and it was the Gambler. Do you remember the little cap gun that fired spuds? The Gambler. I loved that, and I've still got it. It's with my in fact, it's in the same case as all my black powder revolvers. What a great thing that was. What we got here? Opinion on air rams. Air rams. Is that a spelling mistake? Did you mean air arms, or is it actually gas rams? Gas rams can be good. They can be horrible. When I had the Fenmani, whatever, it was quite normal to find if you tried to run them at 11.3 foot-pounds, they'd be horrible. Turn it down to 11.1 foot-pounds, they'd be nice. It's finding the right place, but a lot of the gas rams at the moment aren't adjustable. If you meant air arms rifles are brilliant. Defender loves his Humarex Beretta 92 FS. I haven't got the FS, I've got the F. It's not the FS. It was made in 1988. I've been doing a lot of research on it. Oh, have I checked out the Black Bunker B8, dyslexia kicking in, BM8 break barrel, fold up, interesting concept. I will do a little bit of Googling on that, Ewan, thank you. Who would buy TbT merch like the workshop table mat? We've done merch over the years, back in the day, and I just used to kind of get some made and then give it out and give it away, but we just, honestly, it's too busy nowadays. We used to do a lot of stuff I don't do anymore because it used to be a small business. It is no longer a small business. We're getting up toward, well, it's busy now. Hamish again, when we were younger, never consider leading in a barrel. Now, here's a good point, Hamish. I used to carry different pellets. Going back to the Hawkham, the two barrels, and that one's further away, quick, get the 177 barrel out. I'd have pointed pellets in one pocket, flat pellets in another pocket, some Champion ballistics, I think they were, those ones with the steel in the centre in another, and probably, I don't know, Prometheus in another pocket. Honestly, it is no wonder I never used to at anything. You mashed it. Steve mashed his single shot loader. Oh, right, okay, yep, we'll sort something out. Hi, Nick, you don't have an open sight for a BSA 2240 Magnum. How did you know that, Alan? You're right, I don't. Another vote for merch. Oh, okay.
I'm looking at doing some t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for the year, yeah.
Okay. Karen's looking into doing some t-shirts like we need. Actually, no, that's right. I remember because you've got a computer.
And yes, they're going to be vinyl.
Vinyl. Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Hats and baseball hats.
Karen's very creative. She'll deal with that. She'll do that. I actually bought some little hip flasks with the idea of laser engraving them with the thing. Over there in the corner, you know, we've got the 3D printer. I've also got a bloody great laser engraver over there that I haven't even taken out the box yet. So yeah, no, there could be stuff coming. There could be stuff coming. We can have a look at that, can't we? This is just the first live one. If this goes all right, I might do this more regularly because I quite enjoy it. It keeps me out of trouble. Not so very long ago, this is Paul Slade. Not so very long ago, you were keen on having a play with the new BSA Lightning CLX. Did it ever happen? He has one, and despite all the negative press, he quite likes it. Now, I've only heard the negative press. I have got regular customers who've bought them that I've supplied them with kits for, and it didn't help. So I don't know what's wrong with BSA, and I want them to sort it out because I want BSA to be as good as Viroc. The Super Sport and the Lightning should be the new Lightning. Not necessarily the CLX because I haven't held that one yet, but do you remember the SE? Was it the SE? The one in the little synthetic stock? Oh, I had one of those. It must have been 7 years ago, just before we moved to France. And it is the most gorgeous thing to hold and to shoulder. Absolutely lovely. Fired like a bag of spanners and couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. But it should have been, if it was as good as it looked, honestly, why would you buy an HW99? Why would you? I really wish they would sort it out. I'm not bad-mouthing BSA. I want them to get better. I want them to do a better job. If you could only keep one gun from all your collection, air-powered firearms, what would you choose? How do we ban people off this? We don't say that. One gun. Out of my air rifles, it would be my HW97. If you've seen it, you'll know why. It's in a one-off stock, and I've shortened it without shortening the barrel because what I did, I've got short stumpy arms, I like short guns. It's just one of them things. What I did was when I got it, it was an absolute canal find, rusty as hell, so it needed re-bluing, so it wasn't an issue. So I knocked the false moderator off the front of the gun, put it in the lathe and bored it out all the way to the front, so that then when you put it onto the barrel, it slid all the way on instead of just to the stop to allow the moderator at the front. So that shortened it by about 3 inches. And I took the same amount off the underlever and then sent it all off to get blacked. So it is now 3 inches shorter than a standard HW97K, but with the same length barrel. So the accuracy hasn't been affected at all, and I love that gun. It is too heavy for me to shoot at the moment, but I do love that gun. I did sell it. You know, what gun do you regret selling? I did sell it, but then about a year later, I contacted the guy who bought it off me and said, "Don't suppose you want to sell it back to me, do you?" He said, "I've hardly used it, you can have it." So I was quite lucky there. Bald chap fishing. As we know, you like a good day pistol. Good day pistol? Air pistol, it could be a typo. What about the BSA Scorpion? Too big, too heavy. I did have one. Oh no, I had the Buccaneer. I had the Buccaneer, which was the same thing in a little shoulder stock. If I could get one, honestly, any gun I get in, I will do a review on it. I'm looking at one at the moment, Hatsan Velux or Velox or something. It's a PCP air pistol, semi-automatic, and 15 foot-pounds, and it's not very expensive, but limited market for that kind of thing. I think it only gets about 20 shots per fill or something daft, but it might be worth a laugh. 3D printed merch, good idea. Cairo, good idea. Said I'm too busy making toys.
What do people want making?
All right, Karen's just said, well, I tell you what, yeah, we'll talk about it next time as well, but what do people want making? Because Karen's in charge of all that kind of stuff. But do you remember my radio control car that, yeah, I know I do radio control car stuff and people always get angry. My radio control car, and I made the bits and pieces for it to climb over. Another one arrived today, look at that. That is absolutely brilliant. Proper suspension, working lights, 4-wheel drive, and we've printed off even smaller little obstacles. I've had to clear the table to do this, but I've been playing with that this afternoon. So that's what the 3D printer's busy doing at the moment. TbT mugs, please. Don't call yourself, don't put yourselves down. Beeman Silver Jets. Oh my God, Douglas, yes. Pellets of mass destruction. They were, weren't they? Were they the ones that kind of tapered up to a point, like a circus tent? Like a bit of Bangra. That's what it was. More live shows. Yeah. If people want it, I'll do it, because I do enjoy rambling. If any of you, and I know a lot of you do ring me various questions, not so much shopping, I'm not keen on helping you with doing your weekly shop, but I'm always happy to talk to people, always. I'm very lucky in that I've managed to turn what I love doing in life into a way of making a living. So I'm more than happy to talk about guns with you lot. Thank you, Steve. Laser engraver, yes, Cairo, laser engraver, and it can cut wood and leather and all sorts, I think, possibly small children. Is that the one that does metal?
Can't cut metal.
It can't, no, it engraves. Because the reason we've actually bought it is we've always had two companies, Karen and I. TbT manufactures springs and guides, but we also sell pellet sizers, and Karen's business manufactures pellet sizes, but she also sells TbT kits. That's where the crossover is, but we're two different manufacturing companies. But she changed a while ago to stainless steel because it's much better for various reasons than the brass we were using before. So the idea is we're going to be laser engraving the pellet sizes, possibly with a logo as well, because we're at the point now of merging the two companies, so they'll become the TbT pellet sizes rather than hers. But the reason Karen does the pellet sizes, and I think most of you already know this, I shoot tin cans and blow stuff up. She's the target shooter. So yeah, pellet sizes make a difference of millimeters. I miss by inches. So that's why that one. Yeah, TbT t-shirts, people are saying. I don't know if you can 3D print a t-shirt. You could give it a go. DB Gunstocks wrote a good article on their website on the Lightning CLX and its issues. Right, I'll have a look at that. TbT Live, the best antidote to Chris Packhorse Live. I didn't know. We don't watch telly anymore, live telly. It's either repeats, stuff I don't want to watch, or I end up shouting at the screen. So we watch Broken Wood Mysteries instead. Have you ever owned the Diana Model 6 pistol or Diana Model 66 original? If so, my opinion on the GIST system. Right, the Model 6 pistol. I bought one of those for £15 from Billy. I can't remember his second name, in Sissinghurst. He lived down Milkhouse Cottages when we was about... Well, it's when I had a paper round, I know that, because I used to keep it in my paper bag. So I had one of them early morning ones, you know, when you get there at 6 o'clock and do your paper round before school. I had one of them, and it's right out in the middle of nowhere. So I always used to carry a gun, obviously. And it was an original Model 6G with the shaped plastic handle, not the grey one, the aluminium alloy handle with the brown plates on it, and it was an absolutely stunning air pistol. I've had a couple since, and I'm trying to think who it is. I had a couple, I had the 5 and the 6 probably just over a year ago, and sold them to somebody. But they are good. They are good pistols. I really like them, and I've used the 66. My friend Rickenback of Phil, he had the 66. I liked that, but if I'm honest, I do prefer the Finework Bau 300S to that. for the design and for the use. And if I was going to get one, that's what I'd get. I had an Anschutz. Is it the Anschutz 200 match? I bought 10 of those several years ago now from a club, all broken and repaired. I think I managed to repair 7 of them and sell them on. And one of them, because that's got a kind of damper system at the back, rather than the reciprocating pistons of the gist system or the sled of the fine work bow, this had a hydraulic recoil absorber at the back of the gun, inside of the gun, and it was those that all needed the seals replacing. But one of those was doing 10 foot-pounds, and I sold that to a friend. I should. Why do I keep selling guns on? Silly. But no, I do like a target rifle. Karen enjoys a target rifle. You remember the Gunpowder Stealth, the god-awful little thing? They did a 10-meter version of it in alloy, and it was a nice little gun, and I got Karen one, and she was really good with that. Then lost interest, and that got sold. But it's finding a target rifle that's light enough for her at the moment, or for either of us. Right, Tim. Sorry, I was reading the question first, making sure it's one you want to hear. Currently looking for a gun. Currently looking for gun number 2. Gun 1 is an HW77K. 2 will probably be a PCP. Any recommendations? Just do some research, look around, decide a budget and have a look around. PCPs, there are a lot of good ones. The tactical design, you know, all these tactical ones, I never really liked it, but having got one now, in fact I've got a few now, they just work and they fit and you can change everything. It's like my Meta Plus, it's like putting on a glove because it's got the hooks and the stuff and you just melt into it and then you're shooting. They are really good, but I wouldn't want to carry that far. Again, if you're going to be carrying it a long way, hunting, people, I did see a thing earlier this week, somebody saying they wanted a PCP for hunting for around the woods and around the fields. Somebody said, well, obviously it's got to have a high shot count. Why? If you're going hunting with it, you know, a BSA Ultra was always the thing to have, because who needs more than 30 shots? Have you ever tried carrying more than 6 rabbits? Bloody, they weigh a bit, you know? So the AP900 that I've just had would be a very good, lightweight, cheap field gun. Yeah, it's only been gone a few hours. I'm missing it already. I'm gonna have to. Do you think I should get one of the 1000s, slightly longer, or a 25-900? I don't know. Pause for a bit. I want to pee. Oh, bless you. Old age is a terrible thing too. I will have another bit of tea because I've got the Croque Monsieur coming on. Defender 1006. You're obviously a bit of a watch fanboy. Why don't you do a video on your watches? Do you know? Did you go into the swatch shop?
And the polished the screen for you as well.
Cool. Yeah. I've got my expensive watch, if you like, is an Omega, a 1994 Omega, the Seamaster with the seabed thing, the one that Pierce Brosnan wore as Bond. Main reason why I like it. But Karen bought me one of those, a used one of those many years ago when we really couldn't afford it. And that was my own watch for many, many years. And then a couple of years ago, we were down in, I think it was Bordeaux. There's a Swatch shop in Bordeaux. And I've always liked Swatch watches. And we were in there and they do these. Now, this is an Omega, is it the Speedmaster? I think it is. Speedmaster, but they do a series, or they did at the time, a series of planets, and there was a different one for each planet. And the first one I got was the Saturn, which is a kind of brown motif, and that's the one Karen's been down to Bordeaux today, stayed there last night with our daughter before dropping off at the airport. And the great thing with Swatch is the watch goes flat, you take it in there, they polish it and replace the battery for free. And so I've got several of the Swatch watches. I've got an Ingersoll Mickey Mouse watch, and I just for Christmas got a golf racing watch made by Timex. So it's not an expensive one. I don't like expensive watches necessarily. I just like watches. But these are great, because when I first saw them, I thought it's a bit of a rip-off, Swatch doing Omega. But what I didn't realise was Swatch own Omega. So there you go. But yeah, they are nice. I do like them, and these are nice and light as well. What we got here? I'm talking too much, and all my questions are disappearing. Have I considered the Wrexham X lever? No, I am blessed with sight. Have you seen it? Oh my days. It's got that whole Keira Knightley thing going on like that. And the barrel's underneath and it sticks out further than that bit there. And then so when you put it's not a chin. When you put, it's kind of like that. So the barrel's there and the tube's above it. And when you put a silencer on it, it's going to be stuck out. No, just no. I'm sure it'll be very good. I've had a few Wrexham X's. They're great guns. And I love a lever gun. Who doesn't? But no. Radio controlled turbine jets. Nice. I've got prop planes. I've got some prop planes, no jets. I can do enough damage with prop planes. Did I ever get my hands on a Zaraki? Now, they are Turkish, aren't they? I don't know. I don't know. Be more specific on that one for me, please. Mugs, please. Mugs. Plate to blank the holes from... Bloody hell, PBT9. That is a cracking idea. And I'll tell you what, if we do, you can have the first one. You know when you take the iron sights off of the fire arc brake barrels, it leaves the two little holes in it. A little plate to fill those in with TbT went on it. Just a 3D printed, press into place. We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at that. Great idea. See, worth it for that alone. Probably been asked before, where's the TbT name come from? It has, and I've done it this evening, but yeah, Tinbum, Nicholas, Tinbum. When's Karen doing a live stream? When you put some clothes on. Or not. Only for, no. Late to the chat, but glad to be here from the west coast of the US. Hello and well, oh, Chip. Hiya, Chip. Oh, wait, now, you asked me a question. And I meant to write it down and I meant to reply to you, say, go on the live chat and ask me that on there. But then I thought, no, because of the time difference. But what was it, the question? Remind me what the question was, Chip. Do you make a 3.0 pellet sizer? No, we don't, do we? Oh, no, 7.62.
No, I've got 7.62 and a 7.63.
We do 7.62 and 7.63, which I believe is 3.0 and 3.03 for the old Wolverines. So, yes, we've got those. What's the wife's favourite weapon? Well, you know the multi-tool? No. What's your favourite? Doesn't...
That I've ever had.
Yeah.
I love the Steyr Hunt 5.
Okay.
But my favourite at the moment, probably the 95.
Right.
Because it's light.
She loved her Steyr Hunting 5, and I did look to...
Oh, I like the 2. I like the Virat 2.
Yeah. Right, so we've got 3. She had a Steyr Hunting 5, which she actually sold because she got bored with it. Because when it started missing, she knew it just needed filling up, so she actually got bored of that. She's got an HW95, it's the one that you see in the videos, that's actually her gun, and her HW66, which is a 2.2 rimfire, which, again, she's better at that than me. I've got a Bergerer, she's got the Virat, but she's got the Virat because the trigger's better. It's so funny going into a gun shop with your wife and looking at the rifles and she goes, well, you're not having that one, the trigger's rubbish, get this one. And it was like twice the price. Yeah, but it's a Virat, look at the trigger. There you go. Winter Springer shooting, yes or no? This is Half Moon Knives. Get Stephen Warbrell. I've always shot through the winter, always, and I've never had a problem. But in all my years, I've never had a spring snap either in any of the guns I've had. So I don't know. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't shoot a Springer in the winter unless it's just too cold to go out. Did you ever play with the Daisy VL22 rifle? No, Robert, I didn't. I don't even know what one is. Can I do a long-term use video on my air compressor, please? Yes, I can. I've been using it again today. I use it most weeks and it is very, very good. It's the GX, is it GX CS3? I think it was about €400. And today, my mate Sean, who's taken the AP900, he's ordered another compressor, but because he's only going to be filling up that one gun with a small cylinder on it. It's only like 180cc cylinder. So he's just ordered a €150 one. So when that comes, we'll be having a look at that as well, do a video review on that. But the one I've got, I absolutely love, because my gun's got the big bottles on them, so it tends to be like a 15-20 minute fill, whereas from 0 to full on that little gun was less than 4 minutes. Oh, task success. Another one of the plates is printed off from my little car. Look, there we are. Bumpkin Ballistic. It's got an HW97K, looking for a brake barrel, but keep getting fired left and right, but different opinions on Virox. What would you recommend? Again, the HW95 is probably the best all-rounder. The HW80, if you don't have to worry about limits. The HW99, if you've got a budget, and if you don't want full power, the HW30. I'm so desperate to find a gun to recommend that isn't a Virox. Please help me on that one. Look into the sub 12 Vixen 1 short. Now, funny you should mention that. When I was on Ballistas looking, they've got those, but they're like 1,500 quid. I do say when I do my cheap PCP reviews, there's very little point in doing a review on an expensive PCP because you bloody expect it to work. What's my thoughts on grease in the spring? Oh, pellets and pistons always use spring tar. Now, I don't like products that slow down springs. I'm not sure what spring tar is, but there's red rubber grease that was popular for about 3.5 weeks back in 2017. The trouble is is it hygroscopic? What's the one where it attracts moisture? Basically, moisture goes into it and it turns into cheese inside the gun. It's bloody horrible to get out of there, and it only slows the spring down for a short period of time. So before you know it, the power's gone up again anyway. You've got to put grease on your spring. You do need grease on your spring. Apart from anything else, it kills vibration, so it helps stop the vibration and the twang. But I don't like anything thick on there. Because I did toy with, I used to work for a company called Worth, who supplied to the automotive trade, and I've got several cans of the chain oil, the chain grease from motorbike days. And that goes on as a liquid, seeps into all the nooks and crannies, the solvent evaporates off and leaves a sticky white grease behind it. It's great stuff. And I did look at using it on springs, but decided it just wasn't worth it. At the end of the day, just a small amount of moly on the spring does the job. You don't need to do anything else, really. Hamish, buy an AA TDR. Just got the 410 TDR, very light and packs into a backpack. Yes, it does. It looks a bit weird. It looks tactical, but in a kind of Urquhart Victorian way with its wood furniture. But yeah, my friend Gwyn had one, bless him, no longer with us. He had one, and yeah, it was a nice gun. It was a nice gun, but Air Arms do make a nice gun. Martin, been looking at a pump cup. Oh, for a 1322 Crossman pump up. Only ones I can find are in America. They want £35. Yeah, I do kind of get that. Right, going to be wrapping this up in a minute because we've been on an hour. Can't be here all night. I do unfortunately have other things to do. So yes, posting stuff, getting stuff posted from America is expensive. When I had that 2240 XL posted over, I paid $50 in postage. The only thing you can do really is try and find somebody in America, a pen pal, and say, can you buy that and then post it to me, please? Right, Chip, I think this might be the last one. Chip, in America, having 97 arrive next week. Have your kit on hand when it arrives. Made that choice from your videos. Many thanks for your help with choosing the right kit. No worries, Chip. That's great. Why not spring operated watch? The Amiga is a spring operated watch, and so is the Ingersoll. They're automatic ones. I don't have any windy ones though. That's a very good point. Now look, I'm going to knock it on the head now because that's been an hour, and I don't want to be here all night and get on your nerves. So thank you so much for those of you that have watched. Thank you for those that have stayed with it. And let me know what you think. Leave comments, do whatever. Should we do this? Should we make this a regular thing? We could talk about a different thing every week and have it planned. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Karen, can you come over and get ready to press the button for me, sweetie? Thank you. Right, catch Monday's video on the accuracy for the AP900. Don't know what I'm doing after that. I don't know. I'll have a rake around and see what we've got. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for making it. I think it was a success. I enjoyed it. Good night. Have a great weekend.